So are you one of those people who's got no idea what they're going to do with their lives? You're one of those people who look at others and wonder how they got to where they are. So many years ago, I started out with nothing. I ended up being homeless and not having a great start in life. And here I am, quite a few years later, a lifestyle with a successful business. I guess many people dream of. Now, it's not the best lifestyle by any means. There's a long way to go. But compared to some, I do have quite a bit of freedom and have less worry about paying the bills and general day-to-day life. A few years ago, we had a vision, an idea of what we wanted. And I guess for most of my life, that vision has been retire early, like many people. And for whatever reason, 55 always seems to be the age at which people aspire to. I guess that's because in the UK, that's when we can claim some of our pension or start to claim our pension. We take early retirement. So 55 was always the target. And I think when I was about 50, I was at a point where we could have retired and we could have lived okay. We had a motorhome and we decided to downsize our house and emigrate to Spain. So we got in the motorhome and went to Spain for a month. So we went over on the ferry from southern England over to northern Spain, and we drove all the way through Spain to the southern Costa Blanca where we were looking to move to. And it was after about 10 days that I was really bored. And I suddenly realised that having a lifestyle where you have nothing to do and no purpose in life on a day-to-day basis isn't what I wanted, and I was too young to retire. So we scrapped the idea. We scrapped the idea of retiring, and we decided instead to downsize our house, move into a smaller house, and then buy a second home in Spain, a holiday home. And that's the journey, if you like, that we're on now. So we moved last year and we're just getting a few things in order, ready to look for a property in Spain as a holiday home. It's funny, I never had any inkling into where I wanted to be at this time in life. There was never any master plan. I literally went from one thing to another, and the only thing I had that contributed to this, to my position now, is that I always wanted to better myself. I wanted to better my circumstances and position and that of my family. Obviously, the priority in the early days was providing for the family, providing a nice home, and providing a nice place for our children to grow. And we achieved that. We built a house back in 2001. We did a self-build. We built a nice, good-sized house in the country, and we lived there for over 20 years till last year. So it was a great place to bring up the family. But when I did that, I never had any idea of what was coming next. That was like one step at a time, really. And I think that's been the story of my life, is do things one step at a time, always try to improve. Even though I do try to have goals, I do try and set targets for each year. You know, this year, obviously the goal is to get a place in Spain, spend more time over in Spain, in the sunshine, in the warmth, and to start enjoying life a little bit more on our terms. Now we don't have to worry so much about the children. I've literally this week just agreed and just started to step back from running our lettings business on a day-to-day basis. So that means I have a little bit more spare time, and that's when I'm going to be doing some of these YouTube videos. And it'll just allow me to have a little bit more of a relaxed lifestyle with a bit of time for myself, because do you know what? You should take time for yourself. You know, we're all here once, we have one life, and I've often thought, if we don't do anything good, if we don't enjoy our lives, what is the point in being here? What is the point in even ever having a life if all you do is sit around watching TV and moaning and not doing anything? So that's my thoughts. I want to talk to you about imposter syndrome, because you may be sat watching this thinking, it's all right for him, he's done some big projects, he knows what he's doing. I can never do that. Who am I? Who am I to be able to do multi-million-pound property deals? Obviously, there's a thing called imposter syndrome, isn't there? And it's very difficult sometimes. It's very difficult to believe we can achieve something. But don't let it stop you, because you can achieve a lot. One thing I would say is daring to achieve is fantastic. Taking a step forward is fantastic. But one thing I can't abide is the fake it till we make it crew. The bullshitters. I would much rather you be honest with me and explain what your fears are, explain honestly your situation, what you can do, what you can't do, and then help you because you've been honest, than you be blagging your way through to a certain stage and then everything going wrong, or you're pulling out, or you're getting scared, or you've got CCJs and you're never going to get a mortgage. There's so many things that can go wrong in property. What you mustn't do is blag, because it'll all come crashing down. Be honest and don't pretend. Classic example of this is every Monday when the phone's ringing in estate agents and somebody's obviously just been on a course at the weekend and they try and make out they're doing something different. Like, oh, we're looking for a corporate let. We've got staff and we're looking for accommodation to put our staff in. No, you're not. What you're looking for is a rent-to-rent deal. You haven't got staff because you haven't even got a business yet. All you've got is some information from a training course, and they've told you to go out and ask for a corporate let, because obviously they don't want to call it rent-to-rent to the estate agents, so it's called a corporate let. Estate agents aren't stupid. Training companies have been doing this and peddling this nonsense for years, and we all know what it's all about. So don't get false expectations and be sure of who you're listening to. Be sure who you're listening to is doing it and not blagging it. Life can sometimes give you lemons, can't it? It's never straightforward. But it's what you do with those lemons, isn't it? It's how you react to things that happen, to situations, to people. But we can achieve far more than we realise. Take property. It's not that complicated. Like anything, once you know, you know. I've done projects up to a couple of £1 million. Sounds a lot, doesn't it? But there's people out there done far more than I have. So a couple of million, it's a good size. It's good experience. It means I know what I'm doing. And if that can help somebody else, then I'm happy to help. I'm not here to sell training. I'm not here to sell mentorship. I'm just here to help those that are just a couple of steps behind. If that's you, make sure you subscribe and let's see what we can do together.